All right, Dominica, we scheduled to have a stop this morning. Hence our delay trying to connect with an international university that's having a fair at the Dominica State College. I want to say good morning to my guest this morning. How are you doing, sir? How are you doing?
I'm I'm doing wonderfully fine.
Uh-huh.
Good to be here with you. It's always excited to talk about higher education options as we seek to expand those opportunities for Dominicans. And so this morning we're here to talk about the Dominica College Fair 2023 that's coming up. It will be in two phases. Phase one will be at the Dominica State College. That's on Monday from 10 o'clock.
This Monday?
This Monday. And phase two will be at the Goodwill Parish Hall, St. Alphonsus Goodwill Parish Hall, which will begin from 1:30 up until 5:30. And of course, Dr. Randy Glenn is the facilitator and coordinator. He's the assistant vice president of global studies of Western Illinois University, and he's been the one coordinating. And so we're happy to have him.
I think we've spoken to him before, right?
Yes. In fact, we've been here on several occasions to promote and talk about those kinds of opportunities.
Very articulate guy. I remember.
Very articulate guy, very nice guy. I usually call him an honorary Dominican. He's been doing this forever and making those opportunities for higher education available to Dominicans.
And I think we have
And not just Dominicans, the whole
And I think we have him on the line as well.
Yes, we do have him on the line. Actually, he's en route, as they say in French, to Dominica. So he'll be arriving here over the weekend so we can host this event on Monday.
All right. Well, sorry for the delay, Dr. Randy Glean, but you're here. We want to welcome you in the warmest way. Good morning to you, Mr. Glean.
Dr. Good morning. Glean. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. We were actually trying to get you for a while. We couldn't get, because this line is a very, very busy line. We couldn't make the contact that we should have for the past few minutes. But I'm happy we have you on the line at this time. Dr. Glean, what's going on there for...
a lot more will be going on in Dominica. We're doing something, I think, on a grander scale than we have done since maybe 24 years ago when I came to Dominica with 6 other universities. Back at that time, we actually started to expand the program we were doing in Texas, and we included then universities from Oklahoma, other universities in Texas, Iowa, other places, and that Arkansas led to quite a few more students from Dominica and the region coming up to earn degrees. I've actually been in touch with quite a few of them. In fact, the current vice president at the Dominica State College, Dr. Eugene, was one of those students. She's a St. Lucian, but it was one of those students who went to a different university at the time, Cameron, through that expansion of the initial program. This time, we're coming down to Dominica, and we will have 7 universities, 7 U.S. and Canadian universities represented. And these universities are not coming to recruit students to their university. They're all coming as a collaborative consortium that's going to present opportunities so students can come to the college, and then later in the afternoon on the 5th month, that will be Monday, that they can come to the Parish Hall in Goodwill, and they can speak one-on-one with several different universities, speak about their needs, what's in their best interest, and see what the universities have to offer. So in effect, this is going to be a student-friendly, conversant opportunity for the students to seek their interest, not necessarily for a university to come down and impose its interest on our students.
So we're ready to go for Monday?
Yes, sir. In a big way.
No, I'm sure the students listening at this time are saying, "But how do I get into this program? What about are the prerequisites to enter any university at this time?"
Well, there are several different levels and points of entry. So the typical young person who has completed Dominica State College or Lead Institute of Duns Cape through some mechanism, or even UE, whatever, the typical young person seeking the bachelor's or baccalaureate degree would be the ideal person to get started with the higher education quest. If you've been working for a while, teaching for a while in the bank, and you do need to eventually get that credential, there are many ways to do it. I mean, the modern way is you can start online. Don't have to leave home immediately. So if you're thinking, I have a late start, how can I get in? All the deadlines are passed. Well, not necessarily. You can still start at any of these institutions in the fall. That means this August or September. And you can do so by engaging online, or in some cases, even still, it's possible to get there in person. That's the most cost-effective way, we think, to do education, is to utilize all the credits you have at the college, which are transferable. Then that reduces the time to the 4-year degree. Do a year online, further reduce the time and the cost, and then eventually head to the States or Canada. But what if you already have a degree? There are opportunities at the master's degree level. All the schools have programs at that level that you can engage, and it is possible to get a fully funded program if you are a top student. But not just everyone who walks in the door is going to be handed free school. If you are a serious student and you are planned and you have done research and you're ready to go to the grad school level, it is possible to get a funded program, even at the doctoral level. But don't come in and asking, what do you all offer? You have to know what you're about. When you're talking about going to university today, the first step is students should do their research. It's not like the old days when you and I were looking to go to school where, the information was difficult to get. It's not. Every one of these universities has a website, and each website will give you all the programs that's listed. So one of the things I will ask students not to ask when you show up at the fair, don't ask, what do y'all offer? Know what's being offered, know what you want, and then come in and have an intelligent conversation about what it takes to get there.
Now, the next question will be, there's some people out there, of course, who have a lot of experience out there, but they're looking to formalize, if you will, their education, and they call them experienced students. Do you have opportunity for this type of students?
I think there's an entry pathway for every student. One thing I will say is you are never too old. We have, even as I speak, we have students from Dominica who are in their 40s, who are engaging online in advanced teaching credentials or other subjects like that. We have students in about to start doctoral programs who are mid-career people who are just looking to get to the next level. And the good thing is that using live stream, a lot of these programs are available, and they do not come with the stigma of an online degree. Not that online degrees are less valuable, but sometimes they tend to be stigmatized. These degrees will be live streamed. So you are literally engaging electronically while the others are physically in class. So you are part of the classroom experience. It's a better way, I think, to learn, especially when it's weekends. So for those, I really want to encourage those people who may already have a bachelor's degree, or even those who do not have a credential, but an assortment of experiences, to come in and talk about what is possible, because everything is possible.
I know the big question again is, people always ask, I don't have money to get to universities. How should I qualify? Are the banks? Do you work at the banks? Any financial institutions to encourage students?
Well, absolutely, Mr. Vital will speak to this. One of the things we are doing in this exercise is having several banking institutions present, and Mr. Vital will be able to speak to that. Yes, you cannot get to Mecca without flying on a plane or riding on the bus. Everything has a cost. And I think we need to reorient folks, particularly, and I would say this particularly in Dominica, about education being something that you have to pay for. Back in the day when Mr. Vital and many others, one of the people who will be with me would be Dr. Jenna Joseph. He's one of the students I brought up to the States 30 years ago. These folks were not wealthy, but I was used to the early group, the first 20 years or so of Dominicans basically going through the struggle and going through the banks and finding a way to fund their education. The mindset has been slightly altered recently, And I think we need to reset it to where parents and others understand it is an investment. You know, if you invest in the right degree and you come to the United States, the payoff, or Canada, the payoff can be immense. It's a lifetime of payoff. Let me give you an example. There's a young man exactly 2 years ago I spoke to in Abuja, Nigeria, and I have students at Western Illinois University from 61 countries. And I've been to more than 60 countries. So I've met students under very poor circumstances relative to the Caribbean. I met that young man in Abuja. He had a computer science degree. He literally came to give a friend a ride to the session we were having and just had a casual conversation with me. And when I asked him, why not you? And he told me, I don't have money, oh. And I said to him, well, do you want to have money at some point in your life? You got a bachelor's degree in computer science. It's something that's desirable in the U.S., and you're telling me you're broke. Get to the U.S., you will never be broke. Let me cut that story short. I managed to convince him, take a chance, speak to an uncle of his in Maryland, get what you can manage and come over. He got an assistantship when he came over. So that means he got free tuition and he got a stipend of over $1,000 a month. Fast forward 2 years later, I run into this young man in Walmart 2 days before graduation. He said, hey, Doc, I was coming to your office. He said, oh, you're going to be calling my name correctly, because he has a long name, correctly at graduation on Saturday. I said, but I wanted to let you know, Tesla made me an offer yesterday. I wanted you to be the first to know. I said, Tesla, you got the hookup, man. What are they paying you? He said, hey, $128,000 per year. 2 years ago, he was making, this is funny, $315 a month in Nigeria with a bachelor's degree in computer science, thinking he was doing pretty good. He just got a salary of $128,000 a year, and he did not intend to make this move. Dreams can happen.
Dreams can happen. Let's talk to Mr. Our friend here this morning to talk about how people can access monies for the education this time. Good morning to you. Tell me.
Yes, and we do understand that challenge that students and families are having in terms of funding their education. We also recognize the fact that there is dwindling, access to government funding and all of that. And so families and students have to get creative with funding. And that's why we have partnered with some of the financial institutions this time around to bring that information to students and families. So the students and the folks attending the consultations at the State College and at the Goodwill Parish Hall will be able not only just to have one-on-one consultations with the universities, but with the banking officials in terms of their student loans and their financing options. So we have partnered with 4 of these institutions. We will have with us the Aid Bank, the National Bank of Dominica, that's NBD, the Dominica Social Security, and the National Cooperative Credit Union. These are the institutions that have traditionally provided student loans, education loans. And so they're going to be there both at the State College and at the Goodwill Parish Hall, providing information, direct information on how students can access these facilities. Some of these institutions have very special facilities in other words, very affordable and very flexible financing options as far as education is concerned.
And of course, it's affordable. Given your experience, it's affordable to take financial packages from these institutions.
Well, yes, and the financial institution will speak to that, but definitely a lot of them will have grace periods that allow students to complete the programs and start paying down on those loans after they have completed the programs. They may have to pay the interest while they're studying, but in terms of the principal, they will be paying down on those principals after they've completed their program. But these packages are all very flexible, very affordable, at very competitive interest rates. But it's a good combination, because a student, like Dr. Glynn was saying, is able to, first of all, reduce significantly the tuition cost by completing a year, in some instances 2 years of their program online. That significantly reduces costs, right? In that situation, they only have to focus on paying tuition. right? And so we're really talking about funding. If you do 2 years online, we're only talking about accessing funding to complete your last year.
Most of the universities offer the programs online.
Yes, yes. There is an option to begin online, to complete a year, to complete 2 years of your program online, so that really your only headache is to secure funding for your final year when you transfer to campus.
And you're here, sir, and I'm sure you're listening attentively. You're still there. Hello, Dr. Glean?
Yes, I am. Yeah, and I'll just amend that a little bit, just to say that not all programs will, because obviously it would be difficult to just do 1 year on campus for a chemistry or engineering or those programs that require you to engage hands-on with equipment. So for all programs, though, even if it's not offered online, you can begin online, get prerequisites out, and except for engineering, typically 2 years on campus would be what's required to complete most programs. I'll also say that many of the business programs, many of the arts and science, the arts programs, can be done fully online. Programs like accounting, supply chain management, marketing, all those things, you do not have to get to the campus at all. You can do those degrees 100% online without disrupting your life or your job in Dominica.
And again, let's go back to the original. Let's rewind the tip of it. You said 5 international program directors from 7 universities?
It'll be, well, let's see. Actually, why don't we start naming them? Western Illinois University, Eastern Illinois University, and the representative is actually a Dominican, Dr. Catherine Polidor. She'll be down as well. Then the 2 Missouri universities, Southeast Missouri University, Dr. Kevin Timlin will be there. Northwest Missouri University will be there. Then there is one from the State University of New York at Brockport. I know the director very well. His representative will be there. Then we go to Canada, University of Guelph, a very good university, an hour away from Toronto, where there's a large West Indian population. So a good option. And then, of course, St. George's University. We always advise students, if you want to do medicine, it's in your interest to stay in the region. There are great scholarships for students in the region. It makes no sense to get to the U.S. and give up. In practical sense, that's what they do. They end up giving up on their medical school aspirations. So, 7 options for you to interact with, and there will be other officials there as well who have graduated from universities in the States and can guide you along the way.
Dominica College Fair will be held in 2 phases. Let's get that again.
In the morning at Dominica State College, and that's targeting the recent grads and the current students at DST. If you have time in the morning, it's basically between 10 and noon. You can come in. It's very personal. Again, you're not going to be coming in and listening to presentations. It's not passive. You will walk around and have an individual conversation with as many schools as interest you. And then we'll stay longer at the Goodwill Parish Hall between 2 and 5:30. If we have to stay till 6, we will, because we will accommodate those coming from work. We'll sit there and people can come up and have a conversation. We'll do kind of mini presentations, 5 minutes of explaining the universities in general, and take questions, and there will be brochures and cards and contacts. It's important to know who is going to be in charge of the program you're going to. So, and to know that they are in a position to assist you. It's a senior enough person that's going to be there who can make things happen for you.
Between now and the weekend, if we need to get more information, who do we contact?
Mr. Vital is there, but I will myself, Dr. Joseph, Dr. Polidor, we will all be in Dominica. We're certainly available to have another conversation with you. We'll be in Dominica from Friday night and all day Saturday, fair game. Sunday, happy to have a conversation.
All right, Mr. Vidal, can you tell us a little more in terms of how we can get more information?
Oh, well, definitely. Of course, contact Lead Institute. We are the
You have numbers there?
276-8548. They can call us directly, or they can WhatsApp us on that number, or they can visit our Facebook page, Lead Institute Dominica on Facebook, and all of the information is there, or contact information is there. Dr. Glean will be on island in advance of the team. Will be here from Friday, and if anybody has any special needs that they want, we can always look at it. But he will be there for the entire weekend, and we can facilitate those contacts and those conversations. But certainly, we ask people to call, get information. All of the information is out there on the media. But if you want personal information, then just call us 276-8548, and we'll be more than excited, more than happy to provide you with information and to help guide you through the process.
Dr. Glean, can you have your final comments at this time?
Oh, absolutely. I was hoping Mr. Vital would speak a little bit to the banks that would be, the lending institutions that would be presenting packages and options. It is possible. If you'll allow me, I'll just do this.
Go ahead.
Students sometimes spook themselves. They scare themselves. They're trying to get an undergraduate degree, and they hear the university, or they look online and they see $30,000, and they scare themselves. Well, that $30,000 is the starting point. Almost all the schools will have scholarships ranging between $8,000 and $11,000. So if you reduce $30,000 a year by $11,000, don't start doing 4 times 19,000, because that's not your reality. Year 1 is pretty much covered if you went to college. Year 2, you pretty much do online. You see what I'm saying? You break it down, and before you know it, it then looks much more manageable. Also, students should keep in mind, when you get to a campus, if you are industrious, pleasant, personable, you can get a campus job, and that can pay for your room and board. These are all the possibilities that we're here to educate you about. Don't scare yourself away from this opportunity. It's not as hopeless as it looks. When you speak to someone and they break it down for you, it becomes a lot more doable. So come with an open mind.
All right, I want to say thank you, Dr. Glean. Thank you, Dr. Glean, for speaking with us this morning. We have a next stop coming up there. And we're looking forward maybe on the weekend to talking to you again. Of course, Mr. Vidal is here from the Lead Unit Institute. Before we go, we wanted to find out a little more about Lead Institute. What's going on with this institution at this time?
We are here.
A lot of people have been asking questions about it.
Yeah, well, we are doing what we have always been doing, which is our main focus is just really to expand access to Dominicans to higher education. Our program is broken out into 2 streams really. We have our academic program, which is the CAPE Associate Degree Program, and then we do this placement to these universities for our graduates and Dominicans, obviously, in general. In terms of our academic program, we redeveloping and repositioning that. So that'll be available for next school year, right? So we're going through a redevelopment, a repositioning in terms of our academic program. But we're continuing the recruitment and placement of students at these universities. And we're really excited about that part of the program, because we've been doing this for 20, 25 years, and this is really the best option that we have provided to Dominicans and to our students. I mean, in terms of the course, in terms of the program options, in terms of the financing processes, it's really a great time to get involved and to pursue higher education.
Dr. Glean, thank you again. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.